from Houston, Texas. This is the Liberty Root Podcast.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Liberty Root Podcast number 3. Tonight, I want to jump into something that was extremely moving. And the reason I want to lead talking about something that was extremely moving is because I need to have time to gather my inward emotions before I start talking about tonight's segment, or I could possibly burst some sort of vessel that could render me handicapped or worse.
We are blessed to be joined tonight by Corinne Owens, the widow of U.S. Navy Special Operator, Senior Chief William Ryan Owens. Ryan died as he lived, a warrior and a hero, battling against terrorism and securing our nation. I just spoke to our great General Mattis, just now, who reconfirmed that, and I quote, Ryan was a part of a highly successful raid that generated large amounts of vital intelligence that will lead to many more victories in the future against our enemy. Ryan's legacy is etched into eternity. Thank you. Thank you.
This was such an unbelievably moving moment on Tuesday night's State of the Union. I know it wasn't technically a State of the Union, but in all actuality, it was a State of the Union address. This moment last night, it took me to a place of how deeply humbled, honored, and so greatly privileged that I am to live in this great country. I mean, think about it. Men and women selflessly fighting for us strangers because they know the fight is worth the cause. Isn't that remarkable? It's unfortunate, though, that in a lot of cases, that it's still taken for granted. But when we stop and think about it, we are sending teenagers, 18, 19-year-olds in a lot of cases, to these war zones to defend our freedoms, my freedoms, a complete stranger to these soldiers. But anyways, getting back to Tuesday night, what an unbelievable family Ryan Owens has. I mean, did you see the raw emotion on his wife's face as she seemed to be having a personal conversation with him, reminding him that he will never be forgotten and his acts of valor will live on forever? A truly touching moment. Who couldn't possibly recognize that this is a true patriot? Well, just ask the lunatics, also known as the liberal Democrats, that very question. What in the world were Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Keith Ellison thinking? Are they that low of a species that they couldn't even stand and applaud for a fallen Navy SEAL? I mean, I'm beyond words. You can't stand and applaud a hero because you're still crying that Trump is president? Or because you differ on policies? That's absolutely un-American what took place with the Democrats on Tuesday night. Are the Democrats really struggling that bad, or is it that these are just heartless fools? The answer? Both. The Democrats are so desperate for attention. I understand not applauding in disagreement of Trump's policies and views, but not standing for a hero is beyond my belief. I'm sorry, I'm just extremely fired up this evening. So I'll try to calm down now. Now, Trump's speech on Tuesday night. I believe that this was the moment that Trump became President Trump. Before it was just the notion that he was, now I believe that it's cemented in the minds of all, whether you're for him or against him. I mean, he came off as strong and very presidential. I think this is something that his supporters have been waiting for a really long time. And that moment finally being Tuesday night. For me personally, there were things in his speech that I agreed with, and there were things that I didn't, but overall, he delivered a great speech that I believe maybe separated him a bit from his past convictions. I think he kind of pushed those aside and showed people this new man, if you will, that is President Trump. This was definitely by far his best moment so far. I mean, you can tell that he took the time to practice and make sure that he delivered an on-point speech. I mean, there's even an instance before he went into the Capitol where a camera picked up on him reading and going over his lines in the limo, and it was a really neat moment to see. But this speech was an absolute home run for him. And that's pretty good coming from me, huh? Don't you think? I mean, I'll always be honest and I'll call it like I see it, and this speech was terrific. He did a great job. Does that change my personal view of him? No. But in that moment on Tuesday night, acting as president, I think that's what the American people needed to hear and see, that type of demeanor from him. I mean, he still has a lot of work to do before convincing me that America will be revived under his presidency. Talk is great, but what will the action be? Okay, now that's enough praise for Trump. Sorry, I had to stop at some point. Now this is what scares me about Trump's speech or his presidency in general. I'm sorry, Trump fans. Hey, at least give me credit. I was open and honest and thought the message was great, but however, I do still have my concerns. First, I'm extremely concerned with the spending that's being proposed now. Now, I try to look at it as, does it justify the means? I mean, if there's factual evidence that an expenditure is being spent and it's going to keep our country safer, or eliminate unemployment and bring jobs back, or overall benefit the country as a whole, of course I'm all for it. But I'm tired of our expenditures being experiments. You know, with our current deficit, we can't afford to guess anymore. Either it's going to work or it's not, and there's no in between. And this concerns me with Trump having a pen, for different reasons than Obama. But Trump is a businessman, so spending and development isn't new to him. But America isn't a business. And I believe that Trump views it as that sometimes. It's much more than that. You see, we can't afford to take risk on bad government spending. We need to climb out of the hole that we've been dug by previous administrations. But with this new stimulus package that's going to be going towards roads and bridges, he says, we just spent $780 billion on roads and bridges. Was that money not used for that? So what's this so-called new roads and bridges stimulus going to do? Because I can promise you that not all or if any of that $780 billion went to roads and bridges. They like you to think that it did because that infects your life personally, but I don't know about you. I haven't seen much improvements on our roads and bridges. It seems like every road I drive down there's a pothole, or every bridge I go across, I wonder if it's going to be my last one. I mean, we can't go down this rabbit hole again. We shouldn't be taking federal stimulus for state-level issues. Another thing, we need to act in accordance with the way the Constitution was set to be carried out. You know, we heard all the time under the Obama administration, he's just signing executive orders left and right and acting as a one-man band, trying to disregard the necessity of our three branches of government. Now, it's too early to tell with Trump, but it seems as though the exact same thing he accused Obama of is being implemented under his administration. You see, all branches must act in accordance with each other. And with Trump's past mentality of being a me guy, this scares me. But overall, Tuesday night, I was extremely impressed with Trump's speech. And I hope and pray that these things are carried out in a constitutional manner. We can't get caught up in personal feelings unless they're validated by the Constitution. And I just hope that this isn't like the kid who starts a job and is an A-plus employee for the first month and then gets bored and starts to slack off. I really hope President Trump is taking these things to heart and isn't just reading a speech that someone wrote for him. So all I can say is prove me wrong, Donald, and keep up the good work, because I really was impressed on Tuesday. And just don't be like the bored employee. Back in a minute. Hello, this is Bryce from the Liberty Root Podcast, and I need your help. Go on our Facebook page today, click like, and also share it to be entered into a drawing to win something incredible. If you already like our page, go ahead and share it, and you'll still be entered into our drawing for something incredible. The winner will come on March 25th's podcast, so make sure you stay tuned to listen to see if you're the winner. So go click like and share today. From picture films to Washington, a restoration of country like no other was in the making. America was in extremely desperate times. Then, the answer finally came to a long sought-after resolution. A simple message that was heartfelt and true, and one that America hasn't seen in a long, long time. The message was of positive affirmation that even though rough times were here, our country was still great. Black, white, purple, and orange, this man saw no color and strived to bring unity and civility to all. He highlighted that people are good people, hard-working, and God-fearing Americans. He was able to portray a message unlike any other, a great storyteller, and the ultimate simpleton, perhaps from his days in Hollywood. He encouraged people to be the best that they could be and strive to fulfill their dreams and aspirations. He turned a stale economy into a thriving one. He helped Americans focus on the future of America, learning from past mistakes and embracing brighter days. He believed that the government couldn't make the country great, but the people who reside within it could. He stuck to his guns and didn't waver. He stood up to world leaders and proved that when a man is good on his word, things fall into place and results happen. He had an amazing way of communication. He was even able to trick enemy countries that American technology was years ahead and that America had capabilities far superior to them. Even if we didn't have the technologies, he had a great way of persuasion. He was also fiscally fit, finding ways to cut budgets, taxes, and spending, all while growing the country into an America that had Americans feeling good about themselves once again. There was positive air all around. In 1985, the people gave him another chance. He had proved to them that this is what true leadership looks like, and he took 49 of 50 states in a truly historic election, one that has never been seen before. People, however, had some reservations because of his old age, but as Thomas Jefferson once said, "Don't judge a man on his age, but on his work." And that quote proved to be spot on with this gentleman. He maintained a 3.5 GDP growth, and he helped create over 16 million jobs. He maintained an approval rating of 64%. Although he wasn't perfect and mistakes were made, he always acknowledged his mistakes and rested blame upon his shoulder, not pointing fingers or pushing the blame onto others. He was respected across the country and forever cemented his legacy. He made America prosperous again, won the Cold War by defeating the Soviet Union, and overall improved the quality of life for so many people. The great impact this man had in America and across the world is one of ultimate valor and commitment. With a kind heart, he always had the American people's interest first, proving to the world that a free people is a great people. He made people feel human again, like they had a place in society and weren't just a number or a statistic. He was truly an American hero. Unfortunately, however, in 1994, he became ill. He was in the beginning stages of dementia, and the disease claimed his life in 2004. Following his death, people from all over the world came to his funeral to pay their respects. Lines that stretched for miles just to get a final glimpse of the man who etched a forever place in their hearts. President Ronald Wilson Reagan wasn't just a president. He was a hero and America's best friend.
And that's about all I have to say tonight, except for one thing. The past few days, when I've been at that window upstairs, I've thought a bit of the shining city upon a hill. The phrase comes from John Winthrop, who wrote it to describe the America he imagined. What he imagined was important because he was an early pilgrim, an early freedom man. He journeyed here on what today we'd call a little wooden boat, and like the other pilgrims, he was looking for a home that would be free. I've spoken of the shining city all my political life, but I don't know if I ever quite communicated what I saw when I said it. But in my mind, it was a tall, proud city built on rocks stronger than oceans, windswept, God-blessed, and teeming with people of all kinds living in harmony and peace. A city with free ports that hummed with commerce and creativity. And if there had to be city walls, the walls had doors, and the doors were open to anyone with the will and the heart to get here. That's how I saw it and see it still. And how stands the city on this winter night? More prosperous, more secure, and happier than it was 8 years ago. But more than that, after 200 years, 2 centuries, she still stands strong and true on the granite ridge, and her glow is held steady no matter what storm. And she's still a beacon, still a magnet for all who must have freedom, for all the pilgrims from all the lost places who are hurtling through the darkness toward home. We've done our part, and as I walk off into the city streets, a final word to the men and women of the Reagan Revolution, the men and women across America who for 8 years did the work that brought America back. My friends, we did it. We weren't just marking time. We made a difference. We made the city stronger, we made the city freer, and we left her in good hands. All in all, not bad. Not bad at all. And so, goodbye, God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
From Houston, Texas, this is the Liberty Root Podcast.
Join us every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time for the Liberty Root Podcast. Live life, restore liberty, and pursue happiness. Hello and welcome back to the Liberty Root Podcast. We are now entering into a phase of the podcast that is my absolute favorite, and it's called Who Makes These Laws? Each week, we go through 5 different laws from across the country in different states and just tell you how crazy they really are. So let's get started, shall we? I'm sorry, officer. I didn't see you.
Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do. We don't want to scare anybody.
In Illinois, you cannot drink alcohol if you're enrolled in culinary school. In Michigan, a woman isn't allowed to cut her own hair without her husband's permission. Maybe this only applies to Dearborn. If you're educated, you'll surely get it. In Nebraska, whale fishing is illegal in Nebraska. What? In New Jersey, if you get a DUI, you are banned from being able to personalize your license plate. My only question is, who is sitting in these government boardrooms thinking of these things? It's crazy. And in Maine, it's against the law for Christmas decorations, hey, this is a good one, to be displayed after January 14th. The rest of the country needs to adopt this law. Trump, add it to one of your executive orders, please. Well, that does it for us here tonight on the Liberty Root podcast. We want to thank you for joining us this week like you do every week. And like always, remember to live life, restore liberty, and pursue happiness. Have a great night, everybody. This was brought to you by Liberty Root Productions.